Hey there YouTube, Pixar Prime 10 here, and welcome back to Mega May. Now, right off the bat, I do want to apologize if I do sound a little nasally. It is because I have a cold right now, I am a bit sick, so I do apologize that I don't sound like my normal self, but hopefully it won't be too big of a deal for you guys. Now, for episode 3 of Mega May, I have a figure that I have been wanting to get for a very long time, and it is actually a figure, but you have to build it yourself. This is actually as you can see, a 1/10 scale full action plastic model kit. So you build this yourself off of little spools of plastic they give you. There was about a lot of these in this box. So basically what I did was I opened this guy up, I followed some instructions, and I snipped a whole bunch of plastic pieces off, following the instructions by the number up at the top of the spool and the numbers here, and basically I built myself a Proto Man figure. Proto Man, a very awesome character from the Mega Man series. He's the prototype of Mega Man. He is Mega Man's brother, and he's probably my second or third favorite character. Of course, my favorite is Base. Proto Man and Mega Man are a little bit tied for me. Proto Man's probably a little bit cooler in my book. The box is actually really big. I had to zoom in so that you can't see all of it, so that you can't see the side of my boards. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see the sides of my board, so I do apologize. But you got the Rockman logo up there. If I come on the bottom here, you got full-scale model kit. There's a whole bunch of Japanese stuff and warnings that I can't read. You got the Kotobukiya logo down there. An awesome picture of Proto Man, or as he's called in Japan, Blues himself right there. You have a really nice background. You have the little Capcom Mega Man logo there. On the side, you have front, rear of the figure. You have his weapon item, him holding an E-tank, his different faces or expressions, and a sample photo of an unpainted model kit. Now, it says unpainted because if you want to, you can take some painters and actually fill in some of the finer details that are missing from the actual plastic itself. There's only like 2 or 3 things I'm actually going to use just like a black Sharpie to fill in, like such as his shield doesn't have that black mark right there in the little window. So I'll color that in myself. There's some stuff that I might want to get some finer brushes for to do myself to make it actually come out really nice. On the front here, you have Proto Man with some Japanese little 8-bit Proto Man, which is awesome. Rockman, Kotobukiya. On this side, you have Mega Man and Roll, or Rockman and Roll, now on sale. I'm probably going to get Mega Man and then Roll. Roll's okay, but Mega Man's awesome. And then you got some more Kotobukiya logo over here, some more Japanese that I can't read. Awesome picture of Proto Man, and then Proto Man running right there, which is awesome. And then, yeah, that's it. I'm only using the front of the box because the bottom of the box is actually just a whole bunch of cardboard. It has nothing on it. So this figure is absolutely awesome. I actually had a blast building it. I don't really have that many problems with it, if any, so I'm going to get the figure and all of the accessories out here now. We're going to take a look at Proto Man. Okay, so here we have the Kotobukiya Proto Man figure built and all of it. I wasn't going to build this on camera, by the way, because this took me over an hour, only because it's my first time building this model kit. People who are experienced, this will take them under an hour, but it did take me over an hour. There was no way I was going to montage any of that. But to quickly explain how I built this, I have the instruction manual right here. We're going to move Proto Man back. As you can see, beautiful picture of Proto Man on the front. As you can see, it says Blues right there because that is what he is called in Japan. You have, there's a story up there about Proto Man. Some awesome pictures of him as well as the figure and his 8-bit self. But here are the instructions. So as you can see, it's all in Japanese. So what I had to do is I had to look at, it would say B4. So B was the name of the spool. So if I bring back that plastic spool that I had from before. As you can see, this one is labeled C. So I would find spool B, even though this is C, and then it says 4 on it, so I would find the number on here, and of course 4 is right here, so if this was B, it would be B4. I'd cut out that piece, and that's the one I would use for the step. It's actually, even though it's in Japanese, it really does work pretty well, and it's pretty easy to comprehend, which I do like. So it really was pretty easy. The only things I had some troubles with that really wasn't the company's fault or the maker of the figure's fault was the fact that sometimes it was confusing. Of course, when you have these spools, you have these little plastic bits that you have to cut the plastic off of. So what I would do is, when I cut the plastic off of the spools, there would be the little plastic fragments hanging off that looked bad. So I actually took my file here, my metal file, and I filed it down, which wasn't smart at all. I didn't really look up how to do model kits. This is my first one. So as you can see, all over Proto Man, he has this little plastic bits hanging off of him and little marks that don't look good. Now, that's totally my fault. That is avoidable if you do it correctly. It's not the figure's fault. I looked up pictures, and people totally know how to do this. I actually had an X-Acto knife, and what you're supposed to do is, if you don't have good wire cutters, which I didn't, you're supposed to cut it really nice and smoothly, which I didn't do. So sometimes I mistook some joints or important parts of the pieces for these little spool pieces, and I filed them right off. And I only did that once or twice. One of the most important ones was on this leg piece. You can see it only has half a joint in there. It's because I filed it right off without even realizing it. But here we have the Kotobukiya Proto Man figure. Alright, so I actually, real quick, I just swapped out his Proto Buster for his other arm right now, because instead of doing the accessories first like I usually do, we're going to go through the figure. And as you can see, it actually is an absolutely beautiful looking figure. Now, I've heard people say, model kits aren't actual figures, they don't look good. I highly disagree. I think this guy looks absolutely beautiful, and he'd look even better if I didn't mess up on cutting those pieces off. But also, there's just a few paint details that I have to put in, like, for example, this screen on the back of his head. I have to paint that in. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, because I'm not too confident on my painting skills. But aside from that, the figure itself, it doesn't feel cheap. The plastic does feel slightly cheaper than I would say a D-Arts figure, but it's because it's a model kit. I think it's supposed to feel that way. But other than that, it feels pretty good. The sculpting on all of these pieces is really phenomenal. You can see on the face there, Proto Man doesn't have that much of a face. He just has his helmet with his black visor there. And of course, he has a smirk, and he has two more faces that we'll get to later. But of course, on the side, you have the little ears that most Mega Man characters do have. And what's really cool is you can either have them green like that, or here I have one of the other spools. You can actually have them be red. I've never seen them as red. I'm pretty sure they're always green, but I prefer the green, so I didn't actually take the red ones off, but you can swap it, which is really cool. And you can swap other color things, and we'll be getting to that later. So yeah, the head looks really good. As you can see, he has his signature iconic Proto Man Scarf. You see, it's actually a piece. If I pop off the head, I can take it off. It comes in two pieces, but you can see the scarf that goes around his neck. That's really nice. And on the back here, you have the knot where it's tied, and the two pieces that I just popped off that will separate if I wanted it to, but I don't really know why you would want it to. And you just pop that right back on, and you can see a little joint there, and a little ball joint, and you can actually pop this out, and you can see that this is a little ball joint thing with two ball joints at either end. One goes in the scarf, one goes in the, one goes in the neck piece of the scarf, one goes in the actual hanging scarf itself. So what you do is, I'll put it actually in here. You just pop that in, and by having two ball joints, it actually gives you a lot of flexibility to angle it and pose it, and I just popped his head off. That actually gives you a lot of open room to kind of move it around and whatnot. See, I can have it blowing in the wind like that, or I can have it going the other way. Basically giving you a lot of options if you want to make it look like he's being wind blown or whatever, to have his cape facing a lot of different directions, which is awesome because it's not just, hanging there. It looks really good. Of course, you have his gray torso with his red belt area, little crotch piece right there. His articulation on his head, I'm going to remove this cape for now. If I pop the joint off there, you can see that this piece is on a ball joint on this little gray neck piece. That's really stiff though, so really the only articulation you're going to get is in this ball joint on the head, which doesn't really stay on that well. That is one complaint that I do have. I'm going to pop that right back on. And of course, the joints here are on a ball joint there, and then they are on a universal joint at the shoulder. Some joints are stiff, some are not. It's kind of weird. So that is basically a ball joint there. The elbow will swivel side to side. You gotta make sure you don't pop it out, and it will also pivot in and out. The wrist here on a ball joint, but it's very limited, and you can see the fist will go about like that. He does have a ball joint at the ab, so you get really nice ab articulation if you don't pop it off. These joints are very easy to pop off. It's a model kit, so just be careful with it. The hips, they swivel there, and they are basically on a ball joint, but it's really a universal joint, so they have a full 360 degree of motion. The knees do not bend, but they do have a single knee joint, which gives them a lot of range there, and then the feet do come out for a really nice ball foot joint. The feet joints on Mega Man figures are always really important because you do have those big blocky feet, and you can see that leg likes to come out because I kind of broke it. So it's kind of important to have those feet being able to bend like so. So yeah, and that's basically the Proto Man figure. Now, like I said, you can see here on his side, he has some ugly plastic. What I kind of like to do is, now that I'm done, is I take my knife and I kind of... Never do this, guys. Never cut towards yourself. What I'm doing is really dumb right now. But if I kind of do that, you can see I can kind of get some of that plastic off. I just got to go through the rest of the figure and do that. But yeah, now, clearly, Proto Man does not look complete. He's just standing here. He doesn't have his cape. He doesn't have his iconic Proto Shield. So real quick, let's run through all of his accessories. So the biggest, of course, is you have his Proto Shield, the one that he always carries around with him on his back. He holds it when he fights. This is really cool. You can do a multitude of things with this. On the back here, what you have is this little black piece. Now what this does is, this part connects to the shield, and then this part goes in his back. What this little ball joint here is, you take this yellow piece out of this. This is why this is important. You take this out, and then you take this and put that there, and then you put this in here, and then when you come around here, you can actually put that in there so that he still has his cape on, but he also has his shield on his back, which is absolutely awesome. I totally love that. So that is the shield, and then if you want to have Proto Man holding the shield, it does come with this handle that you just pop in, and getting into the hands now, you have two open hands with pegs on them so that he can hold his E-tank. Now, both these open hands have two little slots in them, as does this little E-tank. Now, you're probably wondering, you're probably thinking, well, that's not an E-tank, there's no E's on it. There are stickers that go on here. They're actually not stickers, they're water transfers. You put them on there and make them stay on there that aren't stickers. They permanently morph to there via water, and I haven't done it yet because I haven't looked up how to do it, and I want to take my time and make sure I do it right, but you can just picture the little E on there to make it an actual E-tank. So, what's really cool is that these have slots, but so does this, and obviously that's not going to connect. So to keep it seamless, if you don't want to have it there, you have this little plastic piece, and you can see there's a lot of small plastic pieces in this set. Or you take the smaller end, you plug it into the tank, take the bigger end, you slide into Proto Man's hand. You can have Proto Man hold an E-tank. So that is what those two hands are for, and it would be kind of cool if you had another one on the other side. You can do that, but oh well. You have these two fists where these are what you can actually do if you want to have Proto Man hold his shield. What you do is you kind of just open these up, and these are separate from the fists that are in him right now. These do have the holes in the middle. So you take, I haven't actually put together the second handle yet, but you do have this first handle, where if I pop this off the shield, and I put, there's a little tab there and a slot section in there. You tab that in there, and you put the other end in there, and you can actually have Proto Man now holding a shield, which is really, really awesome. And I'm actually going to swap it because I prefer to have him hold it in his left hand. So you just put that together. And what's really nice is that they do give you two sets. I actually just haven't put together the other handle yet. So you can permanently leave it in there, and there's really no reason why you would ever need to take the handle out because you do have just the regular fists that are sitting in him right now. Those do separate too, not because they need to have anything put inside them, just because you had to build them yourself. And you take that, and you can put that in the shield. There you go, and then you have his hand and his shield, so that is that with that hand, and then this is, of course, the other handle for when I build it. This is for the shield, this is for the cape, which we will put back here. Now, this is actually another piece for the Proto Buster. So, as you can see here, we have the Proto Buster, this yellow piece I did have to put in, and I'm going to paint, I might paint some yellow around here. As you can see, it has a red tip. If I were to take off this cap, and see, this is what I was talking about with the, I shaved this notch off here, as you can see right there. I shaved it off because I thought it was a plastic piece, but it was actually crucial to keeping this piece on. So what I had to do is I actually had to cut my own out with my X-Acto knife to put it back. But what is really cool is you can either have this red tip in there, or you could take this green tip and put that back on there. And then you can have a green tip to the Proto Buster, sorry. But I actually do prefer the red. I prefer the red tip and the green ears. That's the combination that I like, and like I said, those are the two color kind of things that you can change out. So you put that in, and then you just put the tip right back on there. It doesn't actually screw, I just have to rotate it to find that groove on there. And there you have the Proto Buster with the interchangeable color. And I will show you how to change the arms and forearms and whatnot later. Next, what we have is two little neck pieces. This is if you want to have his neck be actual skin color to match his face. You get two of these. You get this one, this is the skin color, and you get this one in here, which is the actual same gray color as his body. I prefer that one. I think it just makes him look more like a robot and less like a human, and that's what I prefer. So I actually don't like putting this one in there. That's why I don't have it in there right now. This is really cool. This is a little blast thing to make it look like Proto Man is shooting. The D-Arts Mega Man figures come with stuff like this. Well, this one is really easy. You just take it, and you just push it in there, and it's not coming out. Oh, that's because the tip came off. But with Mega Man, it always fell out. This one stays on really nice, and it looks really good. It's like really cool looking. I really do enjoy that. That gives for some awesome poses. This spool I'm going to take out of here. That was just to show you that you can change the ear colors and the gun colors. And this is a little neck piece, I believe, to either to fill in a gap or to make his cape less loose. I haven't actually looked into it. All I know is it's clearly something that would go around his neck, but I haven't exactly figured out what it is yet. So we're actually going to put that off on the side because I won't be using it. And finally, we have his two extra faces. As you can see, the one that is in here right now is a little smirking face because Proto Man is cocky, he's confident, he's out on his own. This one is an angry face, of course, for fighting. He's frustrated, he's gonna kick some can. And this one is his whistling face. Now, we never actually see him whistle, but all the time, every single game that Proto Man's in, without fail, when he shows up on your screen, his classic Proto Man whistle sounds. And whenever you hear that whistle, you know he's around. So basically, whistling is associated with Proto Man. So this face is really cool. You can have a mellow look for him and have him whistling off into the distance. So these are actually really nice faces. I would have liked a screaming face for like really big action, but I don't know if Proto Man really gets that worked up. I guess he does sometimes, but I think these three faces actually fit him really, really well. To replace the parts on him, for example, the forearm, all you have to do is you have to pop that off, and you can see there's a little section in there that lines up with that there. And if I take the Proto Buster, you can see the same pieces inside there. So you just line it up, and it pops right on. Some of these pieces on here are loose, like you can see the legs were popping off before, and sometimes these arms do like to pop off. But as long as you kind of do it well, it looks pretty. It does. If you kind of don't manhandle it or be rough with it, it's not going to pop off. What's really nice about this Proto Man figure is it's basically the only one that exists, and even though it could be a little bit better, it really is really good looking. So the cape doesn't stay on there that great, so what I do is I usually leave it off until I have him pose, then I put it on there. But there you have the Proto Buster on there, and you can see it's really simple to switch off. To switch the hands on any of these forearm pieces, it actually does pop off like a ball joint, but with some of them it's kind of hard because the ball joint is another piece you had to put on this little peg. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to glue these ball joints to all of these forearms, because when I take off the hand, well, see, now it doesn't want to do it. See, sometimes it likes to come off with the hand and get stuck in there. So you kind of just have to slide it back in there. I'm probably going to crazy glue that onto that joint right there. So you can see you can just pop the hand off. And if it does get stuck, you can open up the hand and take it out. And let's say I wanted to have Proto Man holding a Z-Tank. You just prop that other hand on there. And then replace the forearm. So as you can see now, Proto Man is holding his E-Tank, or, well, just blank tank, with his Proto Buster, and of course if I wanted the cape on there, I could. So really, really cool, honestly. There's a lot of just different things you can swap out to create so many different possibilities of posing. So one thing that I like to do is I'm going to actually pop this off there. Okay. And we will put this one on here with the shield, and you can do this a multitude of ways. Sometimes I like to do it like this so the shield is actually still standing up, but he's kind of holding it behind him like that, and you can put that like that. This is kind of there's a statue that came out recently of Proto Man where he's like walking towards, I guess, the police or something, and they're shooting at him, and the bullets are bouncing off his shield. That's what this kind of reminds me of. See, you can kind of have him holding his shield and shooting at you. That's really cool. Now, I'm actually just going to pop that off for now, because I'm going to show you how you replace the face. Now, on most Mega Man figures, what you usually do is you pop the whole front of the helmet off, you take the whole face out and put the helmet back on. But because he only has a lower half of the face, all you have to do is kind of get your nail or something underneath this visor section, which can kind of be tricky at times. There you go. Pop that out. And this is actually two pieces. This black part does come off, and then that just pegs right back into there. I might glue that together. See, I told you there might be some gluing that I'm going to do on here. I might glue that too, because it just, when I try to get it off, it comes off with it, and that doesn't need to separate anymore. But you can see the face is just sitting in there. It's not tabbed in, so you kind of just wiggle it around until it falls out. So you get the face out of there, and then you choose the one you want. I'll choose the angry face, and you throw that in there, and then you kind of just line up the pegs with the face and the top of the helmet like that. Oh, and see, you gotta make sure you do it right. I don't want to break anything like I already have. And then there you go. There you have Proto Man doing a nice little teeth gritting face. And if you want to have him hold the shield the other way, you simply just flip it around like that. Oh no, I'm sorry. You want to flip it around like that. That way you can hold it behind him. So you put this arm here, and you kind of just slide that little ball joint back on there like so. Kind of have Proto Man crouching down behind a shield. Maybe get that little blast in there. Like that. And I took a lot of pictures with this guy when I first built him in many different poses. If you want to look at them, you can see them on my Twitter. Link is in the description below. You take that off. And I generally like to keep the Proto Buster on his right arm. I think it just looks better. That's what I prefer. And then you have Proto Man. I did it better. I said you can see it on my Twitter. I did it a lot better. But you have Proto Man kind of leaning back. Or maybe like that. Like that. And that right there is just really awesome. I love when you have everything together. You have the cape flowing, the shield on the back. You got that open hand rocking. Even if you want to put the shield in the hand, the cape going another way. And then if you really want to, you could have this on here, which I actually think when I posted on Twitter, I did have that. And you can do that, which that just looks absolutely awesome. This figure is so freaking good looking. The quality control is, I don't want to say poor, because it's not. It does feel a little cheap. Things do kind of come apart really easily, but like I said, it's a model kit. It's not a toy. But once you get it displayed, like right now, see, nothing's bad is happening. It's not like it's falling apart like as it's just standing there. So that actually looks really good, and you can get a bunch of different poses going with it. Since everything's falling apart, with a little bit of help from movie magic. But yeah, this just looks awesome, and if I maybe take the time and really fine-tune some of those plastic bits on here that aren't too good looking, because I didn't take my time when I originally built it, maybe I can make it look even better, put some finer paint details in there, like the black in the shield, the green in the back of the head, and some yellow around the end of the Proto Buster here. Maybe I can make this thing look even better, but as it stands alone, already it just looks really good, and I really do like it. Now, I bought this because I wanted a Proto Man figure. I have a base figure and I have a Mega Man figure, but they don't quite scale up to him. They're only about up to here on him, so they are, I'd say about here, but they're just smaller in scale, so they don't scale with him. I have a base and a Mega Man figure, and then a Proto Man figure. And if I get the Kotobukiya Mega Man, I'll have a Mega Man and a Proto Man, but no base. And they either need to make a D-Arts Proto Man or a Kotobukiya base, so I can have all three of those guys just together in figure form. Oh, I would love that. But as it is for a Proto Man figure, this is absolutely awesome. My friend on Twitter, Proto Man, Daniel, Proto Man of Proto Retro, you may know him. He's pretty big. He's pretty awesome. Biggest Mega Man fan I know. He always steers me in the right direction when it comes to anything Mega Man. And when I said, do I get Mega Man or Proto Man, he said, buy Kotobukiya Proto Man. It's the only Proto Man figure that exists that's good. And I listened to him, and I bought it, and I absolutely love it. This is an awesome figure, awesome posability. If you're a big fan of Mega Man, of course you're going to want to get this. If you like Proto Man, go ahead and get it. If you're kind of just looking for a generic Mega Man figure, I would go for like a D-Arts Mega Man. But as it stands alone, I got this for $50. Not sure if it's worth that. The Kotobukiya Mega Man was $25. That I would have been okay with. I did spring the extra $25 just to get this. Not sure if that's completely worth it in my opinion. But for all of the pieces and plastic you are getting, I'll deal with it. It's okay because of how much I love this figure. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video review of the Kotobukiya Proto Man model kit figure. As always, do not forget to follow me on all of my social media, including Twitter, for sneak previews and updates down in the video description below. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I thank you very much for watching. As always, have yourselves a great day. I will see you soon with more Mega May.